Really good.
Excellent.
Really good. So,
I have more to say about every single word I just used, but not for today.
but the words we're looking forward to right now are those of Alice Sales reading her
Oh.
beautiful offering.
Okay, no musical play-in.
No,
Not
like,
while we're doing these, so we have more time to do.
Alice, you can hum for a minute if you want.
Or you could sing your psalm.
Oh dear. Okay, here goes. Some person long ago is talking to a God I have never seen, a face I have never encountered, a voice I have never heard, eyes that have certainly never listened to me.
Mm.
Where is this God the psalmist prays to? I have tried to live without deceit, but I admit I have tried to hide my defects, pretended to be happy, stayed awake at night, loneliness tormenting me. I have seen the face of my mother, beautiful black hair, frightened eyes before she disappeared. I have looked at the face of my child, perfect, eyes wide, trusting, before I lost her. I have known love, gazed at the face of my lover, heard beauty in the sounds of Chopin, spoken true words with a friend. But my heart asks, what have I left my children, the world, when I have finished and become dust or spirit? What did it mean for me to live?
Wow, Alice, this is spectacular. Speak to us.
I don't know if it's spectacular or just being very depressed at the moment that I wrote it. You know, is that depression or is that spirituality or asking deep questions? I'm not sure. But it came from a very deep and honest place in me when I wrote it. I felt like, wow, this is me. I don't know whether I'll have the nerve to send it in, but this is me talking. And it's what I struggle with.
Well, sir, first of all, to answer the question, and then I've got a question for you about what makes it, is it the depression spectacular? It's the turning any authentic feeling, whatever it is, and depression is an authentic feeling, sadness, despair, unknowingness, the kind of the gap, the breadth of our unknowingness about what it all means is spectacular when we find ways to put it in a creative form that can speak to another person, that expresses something deep and true. How many times a day do we get to experience something deep and true? And art, that's why, you know, for me, art, whether it's in a museum, you know, I love going to a museum because I feel like even if I'm not in a mood to be surrounded, to pay attention in deep, you know, in kind of, very, very concentrated ways. Oh God, here we go again. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. Here we go. If we find a way we were surrounded by people who are expressing deep truths with a medium that has power. And that's what you're doing here.
Thank you.
And who among us can't relate to this? Every single human being can relate to this. And I bet you if we went through the entire 69 people signed up right now, there is some level at which this speaks to all of us. What is our life's work? What is our purpose? And what is it all going to mean when I'm not here? Very, very, very beautiful.
Thank you so much. I was so afraid to read this.
And there's no resolution to these questions, right?
Right.
I mean, this isn't Hollywood. This isn't like a sitcom. This is life. And life is full of open-ended mystery. And the best we do is we can express it in ways that allow our truth to be visible and to touch another human being with it. And I believe I believe, and I know I don't care what other people believe, and it's okay not to believe at all. I believe this is an expression of our relationship to God. And this is very moving to me. Alice. Really deeply moving.
Thank you so much.
And who among us haven't tried to do this? Go back up for a second, Harold. I just love this line. I have tried to hide my defects, pretended to be happy, stayed awake at night, loneliness tormenting me. Every single human being alive has experienced that on some level. Beautiful, beautiful, breathtaking, really.
Thank
All
you.
right, who are we up to next?
Sarah Siegel. Oops.
A prayer of David. If David were an abandoned cat in our neighborhood. God, or even one of you in your houses, hear my yowling, my howling, my caterwauling. I am a cat, just a cat who got left behind. You be the judge. Is it right that the lady down the street who spoke only Korean and was schizophrenic and who got taken to assisted living apparently had no plan for me? Is it right that through the snowstorms and until who knows when I must fend for myself? I'm a southern cat with a brown body and white whiskers. My close-set eyes can bore a hole through humans from 100 feet. And I'm not used to this kind of cold. A week ago, I perched on the wooden fence of a couple of older women in the neighborhood and did my staring contest routine with the one I think of as the family's Omega cat. She took my picture, she saw me. The first night of the storm, I figured my best bet was to bore a hole through their bedroom wall by crying my loudest outside it, until the one I pegged as the alpha cat appeared with food for me and blankets and the hospitality of their shed. God, 3 other cats muscled me out of the shed and I became the Omega to their alphas. The indignity. When the human who helped saw all of them taking turns at my food bowl the next morning, she figured it out, but couldn't do anything other than put out more food. God, I ate their leftovers and somehow survived the storms. On the first warm day, I sat in the older lady's backyard and had a sun bath. The alpha one called the Omega one over to their bedroom window and they smiled at me, admiring my resilient magnificence. I looked back at their faces and saw yours, God, and I felt full, at least until dinner time.
Creative. So tell us, how did you go from Psalm 17 to this? Beautiful.
Sure. And it's a little ironic.
Caterwauling. I don't know that word. Caterwauling.
Yeah, it's real. Do you see my cat in the background there?
Yeah. Yeah.
She wants attention. Anyway, well, I heard the, listen, God, the 3 kinds of listening into the yelling. And it also was topical. Who was pleading the most at the time? I'm sorry, I have to. It's really
so perfect.
Oh.
It's okay. She's not gonna like this. Anyway, whose plea was loudest during the snowstorm? This strange cat outside, who we've since figured out was probably gaming us and probably does live with, he's an outdoor cat who lives with somebody because he's really well fed. But at the time it was just so sad. And I thought about the lion ready to pounce.
Great.
About
That's beautiful.
Seeing God's face. And I thought, you know what, that cat, Pat was God, basically, the person, giving the food in the shed. There were other things too. The formatting on this got messed up, even though I sent a PDF. So I'm not sure what happened, but that's immaterial mostly. And I removed stoic because that cat was anything but stoic up in the beginning. So thanks, Harold, for getting rid of that. Anyway, that's how it happened. And it's kind of hard to even remember because it's been 69 degrees here for the past couple of days. But last week it was like -2 wind chill, and that had never happened practically in Memphis. So that's it. Oh, and I just want to say one other thing. I will right now, if you go to my Facebook group, but I'll put my Facebook profile, but I'll put it in our Facebook group. The picture of that cat is my cover picture, and to this. So thanks.
And my apologies, Sarah. We do our best. If you send me the PDF, I'll correct it for the archive so we have it correctly formatted for you. Okay?
Thanks. Yeah, I'll send it directly to you then. Thanks.
It does not lose its power, though.
Beautiful.
Yes. On to Linda Solomon. Linda was having a little problem with her audio. Linda, are you able to speak to us today? Oh, no. Linda, if you can chat me, we can have someone else read it. We know you're here. Perhaps you just have some problems connecting with your audio. In the meantime, while we wait to hear from you, we will move.
Okay, I'm now unmuted.
Oh, okay.
I'm using Bonnie's computer and it makes me crazy.
So you can take a breath, and when you're ready, read to us.
Okay, all right. Death March. They ushered us out of the barracks, pushing those of us who could walk ahead. As we left the little warmth of the buildings, we heard the shots, and we knew. We started walking, being pushed or whipped when we slowed. If one stopped, he or she was shot right there as the rest of us walked over or around their bodies. I prayed to you, my God, please let me keep walking, not slip, not fall, not stop. I have called you before, my beloved God, and you have heard me. I beseech you now to hear me. Let me not suffer the whip or the gun. Let me take refuge in your love. Hide me within the shadow of your wings, lest I falter. Receive me as a daughter of your eye, as I once was the apple of my father's eye. They surround us. And that one who is nearest to me is like a lion ready to pounce. His look is lascivious. I do not make eye contact with him. His lips in that obese body and face are mouthing the pride of his power over me. Rise up, Adonai, confront him, rescue me from him. I would rather die at your hand, Adonai. I want to be among the righteous and behold your face. Then I will live in your presence, even if I don't see the end of this march.
Wow. Wow. Very, very, very moving. Linda, talk to us about doing this from Psalm 17.
Well,
See up here, you have 5 to 15. What does that mean?
That's the verses that I used.
I see. Okay, great.
From the moment I read this psalm, I could not think of anything but the death marches and how.
Why? How did you go there from that?
I have no idea, but I am obsessed with the Holocaust and the Shoah, and I spend many hours reading stories, people's stories about their survival. And this immediately took me to this place, this death march, which I had read about, and how they had planned to murder all the captors after they reached their destiny anyway. And that there were few survivors, and those who survived were the ones that ran away. So that has been haunting me ever since I read it. And I can only express it in writing my own thoughts about if I were on that death march, how I would feel and how I would relate to God. And so that's what I did.
Yeah, very, very powerful. And I really love the way you played with the apple of the eye as that idiom, but to say, perceive me as a daughter, using that other translation, which I was incorrect in using, but kind of that's a creative use of it, as I was once the apple of my father's eye. I love that. And I love the imagery that you take from the psalm and that you apply it to a circumstance that obviously the psalmist could never have imagined, but makes it very, 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 very relevant for you. Thank you, Linda. Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
A little breath. And we move on to Leah.
here, enemies surround, chafing between my toes like beach sand, guide a path to Park Avenue South where daffodils bloom. Convince me that nightmares need masks and wake me when it's over.
Wow, Leah, I just love the contrast of the different Psalms that use a lot of words and then very sparse. These are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful balances. So speak to us about this. I really love this. You get right to
Well, on March 13th, I put on a mask, and I live on 21st Street off Park Avenue,
Uh-huh.
and I like to walk. I walk every single day,
Yeah.
and I couldn't smell the daffodils, and I love the daffodils on Park Avenue.
Oh, wow.
In Florida, I also like to walk. I walk on the beach every day, and the one thing that's distressing is the sand between my toes.
Uh-huh.
Can never get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal, but it makes me think about what's going on. And I would love to go to sleep and wake up and say, wow, we can get back to my normal life. I can go to the gym, I can go to the movies, I can go to the theater.
Yeah.
And it just ain't happening.
Yeah. But wow, what a great expression of this moment. And I love the here. I love that. That echo of that beginning of the Psalm itself, and here, enemies are surrounding, chafing between. It's so evocative. So evocative. Beautiful, Leah. Really beautiful.
I used the Mitchell Psalm, as you know, it's very short.
Yeah.
And brevity also speaks to me.
Excellent. I love the multiple expressions in the class. It really shows the variety of human experience and also how we best express ourselves and in what ways. Really love this.
Leah, this is for you.
Okay, Harold, I have something for you. I wandered lonely as a cloud on high or vales of hills when all at once I saw a host of golden daffodils.
Wordsworth.
William Wordsworth, right, the Lake Country.
Yep.
One of my favorites.
Thank you.
Beautiful one.
That gift. Allison.
I love that we have a TA who could identify it even before you could say it, Leah.
Allison, is Allison Klein here, and does she want to read her offering?
Yes, I am. I'm ready.
All right, hold on. Let me get us to it. All right, Allison, take a breath, and when you're ready.
Hail to the chief. You hear us, you see us, and we serenade you with psalms. Are they futile prayers of song that we sing? Our judgment judges so harshly, yet you alone know the possibility. Universe, searching my soul in the darkness, impeaching me and acquitting me, and I remain silent. My solitude keeps me far from those protected masses. While I strive to remain upright, sure-footed, as if planted by the water. Are you still there listening when I call? Were you ever? Where is that shelter, O Savior of sufferers? Can you protect me covertly, your proudest creation, from wretched rioters who brought wicked acts upon your people? The orange lard bringing its infestation that seeps into the heartless. Now it's me who locks the gates, where they look but never land. That beast is quieted, lying and waiting and lying. For I hear no evil. My strength lies within my conscience, where all other lies lie. From where would that be healed, now protected? Would I be just in beholding you, or just beholding? Or are you made from my image?
Wow. Now it's locked. Hold on, that sentence. I want to see that. Is that 11 or 12? That 11. Now it's me who locks the gates where they look but never land. Wow. Allison, speak to us.
Well, you know, it's I said in my Chavruta class the other day that I felt like I'm regressing with the Psalms. And so I was trying to, and I realize I say I'm inauthentic and it always feels inauthentic to me, but then I realize I'm using the wrong word. I mean, obviously it's authentic. I'm not plagiarizing. It's coming from me. So I guess that makes it authentic. But I can't think of the word, I guess, that I meant. I was reading trying to do the altar, but I also looked at Bernstein and Fisher and was trying to do this time, sentence, pasuk, sentence to sentence.
Yes, I like that you've numbered them. That's a very effective.
So, and I don't know. I mean, some of it came out, some of it I read, and I think, you're trying to sound like somebody else. That's my inner dialogue is like, that's not, that's baloney. That's, you're not this and you're not that. And all the self-hatred stuff starts flying around. And I loved Alice Sale's poem because we were in the same Chevruta, and we found ourselves agreeing on a lot
Agreeing, yes.
of spiritual experiences. And I don't know, I just tried.
Allison, I love your wordplay. The beast is quieted, lying and waiting and lying. We have the two meanings of lying, and then
Right.
lies, lie, and then would I be just in beholding you or just beholding?
Yeah.
Right.
Really
Right.
beautifully done.
I like to play.
Yeah. And I think you do a great job at expressing it all, Allison, and you need to keep writing and trust yourself. There's no cheating. You know what I mean? There's no cheating in this. You can quote others. This is not about plagiarism. That's why I like for people to say, it's like, many years ago, I said, well, that's a whole other story, but you can, by trying to imitate somebody else's style, even that's a way to discover yourself, right? To say, okay, I'm going to try and write like Mitchell or Alter or Levy, or that's great. It's like in an art class, you say, okay, let me try, and I'm going to spend some time trying to imitate one of the great giants of art. It's a way of,
That's not really what I meant by plagiarizing, because I
okay,
know.
so what did you mean?
I meant that I was feeling like a thesaurus, kind of, and for myself, I would read that, or read somebody's, and then put it into my own, and then I'm thinking, well, you're just a thesaurus. You're just using different words, to say the same thing. But then it felt like, I don't know, maybe I am just having trouble in.
I'm saying that there are discoveries to make no matter what you do. You can't cheat. Like it's not inauthentic, even if it doesn't feel right. If you're doing it, it is you. It's one part of who you are. Even if it's just saying, okay, I'm going to find a different word for that. It's still you, even if it doesn't always feel like every part of you. It's still okay to do, and it is authentic. Do you know what I mean? Like, even if you're saying, okay, you're just trying to imitate another word or something like that, I'm just trying to encourage you to remove the censor and the critic, because you need to just, I don't know if anybody here has ever been in a writing class where there's an exercise, and maybe there's an equivalent in art classes, which I'm not as familiar with, where they say, just for the next 45 minutes, write without lifting your pen or pencil from the paper. Like, don't even stop to think of the next word. Your job is to keep the pen or paper. This is in the days of pen and paper. Keep your pen or paper on the paper and just keep writing whatever is. And even whatever it is comes out is part of you, right? It's just a way of trying. Our biggest problem often in being creative or creating anything are the voices that say, nope, no, 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 no. And you've got to get that out of there. And believe me, any writer, any artist throws away a lot of stuff before they are fully satisfied, right? But if you don't find a way to get the no, no, no out of your head, or this isn't good enough, or that's not right, or it's not quite, and there is no cheating in this process. I'm not sure if I'm being clear. I'm not being critical at all, Allison. I'm saying I love your writing, and I love and the journey towards wherever you want to get to. There's only one way to go there, and that's through whatever you're going to put down on paper, whatever it is. Trust yourself.
Yeah, that's the
And I
hard.
know there are many in this room who are great artists and have this experience in different media and can speak about that in their own way. But coming to a spiritual truth requires trying to remove the sensors that tell you to stop. And you'll get there. You'll get wherever you need to be. And the journey itself is finding places along the road which are very, very meaningful. I promise. Anyway, all right, Harold, where are we?
We are up to the point where we say thank you so much for everybody who gave such
Oh, we're done with the
class.
offerings for 17. Fantastic.
read
What
through.
a range of
Yeah.
offerings, both in style and in energy and in language and movement and orientations of different kinds. Beautiful.
And
Really.
again, I'm here for you to email me if there were any errors in the text that we showed. I will put up the text by this weekend so that everybody can see it, our archives. So Rabbi, do you have anything you'd like to discuss with us?
Yeah, so there are a few things that I want to bring up as we are shifting into the next place, the next psalm. First of all, I want to say that we want to figure out, Harold and I have been talking about trying to figure out how to get some feedback as we're arriving soon on our anniversary, our year anniversary, to get feedback from folks about how it's going in a way that's helpful and thoughtful and keeps people engaged. We have some sense that, so that's one topic. And we have some sense that some people love the Chavruta, some people hate it. Some people love the personal offerings, some people want less of that. Some people want more of me talking, some people want less of me talking. So we know that there's a range on kind of some of the biggest structural stuff. Some people want more Hebrew, some people want less Hebrew. And we haven't quite arrived at what is the right balance of everything, and we are constantly trying. So one thing we want to do is to kind of get feedback as we're approaching the year. And I don't know if we have time today, Harold, verbally to have a conversation a little bit and how much we need to do some housekeeping things. And then for folks who want to write something rather than say it, how you're welcome to send it to me directly at rabbi@cbst.org or to Harold. You all have his email address. So we want to kind of make sure that as we're entering the year marker, we're thinking about how we're doing with the balance of all, such a large group. Obviously this doesn't include the people who have dropped off. We just want to figure out a way to get some feedback that's helpful. And we don't totally have the final answer to that, but we've tried to shift a little bit. And I'm always trying to think about things to keep it meaningful and fresh and spiritually deep for folks. So that's one thing we want to talk about. The second thing we want to talk about, I'm not sure today, Harold, is Harold, Annika, and Sherry are planning a fabulous March 16th event. So we want to talk about that. And the third thing, which I'm not sure we can cover all in our 15 minutes now, is the break that we're going to have over Passover. I'm doing another one of my 3-week trips to Los Angeles, quarantining, and then taking some time off. So Harold and I have a proposal for how that time is going to go. So those are our 3 big topics. How do you want to handle it, Harold?
So Rabbi, actually Sherry and Annika and I are prepared to talk about March 16th. We think it's important because we're moving forward.
Okay, so
we're going to do that for a while, and then if there's some time left over, we could take some hands, or we could just recommend that people take some time on their own and write their thoughts about the class in their own time, and just email them to me and or you, and we will take a look at them rather than trying to do it sort of impromptu right here.
Right. And people can think about it a little bit. Obviously this is our slow food study, so it's not that we want to get a sense of how to do all the balance right. Anyway, so why don't we talk about, that's a good idea. So if there are things that you want us to hear, please write to either one of us, rabbi@cbst.org for me, and you have Harold's email address. And why don't we talk about March 16th?
Okay, March 16th is going to be amazing. The group, Sherry and Annika and I have been hard at work. We've been in touch with a number of you already about the non-text offerings. Sherry will review where we stand with the text offerings. It is the 16th. It is 6 o'clock to 7:15. We will have the program where all of the offerings will be pre-recorded and the rabbi will be live so that it has both that live and pre-recorded aspect to it. There will be a PDF program which will have the text of everybody's offerings. It will have some other things in it also. And this is a fundraiser, and we have a registration page that we are just on the verge of having revised. And we are taking donations, and there will be place in the program for people to have short messages to go along with certain levels of donations. It is going to be promoted through the synagogue in all of our normal ways. And I was very happy when Iris said to me yesterday, I have a lot of people I want to invite to this. This is the time to invite people to whom you have been talking about the Psalms class, to see what we've been doing. And in the PDF, there will be our bibliography. We're talking with Rabbi Kleinbaum about putting her one page of how to study Psalms on your own, how to join the class. So it is going to be very exciting. I'm going to turn it over to Sherry, who is going to talk about where we stand with the written offerings. And then I am going to present something about what you can do to prepare for your recording sessions. Sherry.
Thanks, Harold. The text offerings that were submitted were phenomenal, very moving, very poignant, very powerful. It was difficult to select them, but in fact, Rabbi Kleinbaum, Harold, and I have selected the offerings for each person, and we will be notifying you post haste about which offering has been selected. We made selections based on the flow of the evening and many other areas. We're going to be grouping the selections into various categories or themes. And that's ongoing right now. But for example, one of the categories might be COVID-related offerings. And we have timed every offering. And I will say that there are a few offerings that are a little over our 2-minute limit. And those people are being contacted and will work together. Even if we excerpt your offering to be read, it will appear full length in the compendium. And that's about it. We were so moved by these offerings. We think it's going to be an exceptionally powerful evening.
Yes, it really is remarkable. And as Sherry said, and I will emphasize, there's going to be a rhythm to it. We will not be reading 31 offerings from one end to the other. We have the songs that have been sung. We have some of our multimedia and visual offerings. We have music alone. We have the rabbi's comments. So the evening will be like the flow of a beautiful service that has ups and downs and takes you on a real journey. So with that, I'm going to share my screen and talk about things that you can do to get ready for your recording session and how we are going to do the recording sessions. We want this to work for everybody. We did this for the high holidays. We recorded more than a dozen members of the Psalms class. We are old hands at this. We know how to make it work, and we know how to make it work well for everybody. So I'm going to put a link to this document in the chat, and we're going to be sending it to all of our readers. We are going to be doing all of our recordings next week. We hope to have everything in the can by the end of the week so that we can move to our editing and sequencing of all of the segments. So
Harold, if I could just interject for 1 second, the one thing that we would suggest that everyone do is to read aloud your practice, your offering, if it's a written offering, and we will have provided you the timing that we have, and to please ensure that your timing is within the framework. Sorry, Harold, thank you.
okay, so number one, and we understand that you come from different levels of proficiency with your equipment. We can help you, but the hints are, if you can find out where the camera is on your computer or other device, that is very helpful, because that helps you to position your device that the camera is at the right level. Make sure the camera lens is clear of smudges and fingerprints. Best thing is to wipe it with a microfiber cloth like you get when you get glasses, or a soft piece of cloth. Do not use Windex or other cleaning spray, as it will cause lasting damage, as I found out with my old computer.
I need to emphasize this because I did the same thing. Do not spray any of those products, even eyeglass products, on your computer screen. It will destroy it. Do not do that. And they don't tell you this clearly enough or often enough.
That is today's teaching from that is the teaching of the rabbi for the day.
The things I learned during COVID times.
And we have found that many times people, you put your hand on your screen, that the single thing you can do to make your picture clearer is just to take a cloth and wipe off over your lens. We will talk to you about positioning the camera at eye level or above.
Hold on, Harold. Hold on, Harold. I have another teaching to offer. An Apple guy I spoke to recommended this product, but don't, because it has no alcohol or ammonia in it, and you can only spray it on the cloth, not on the screen itself. And but don't use any product that you would use for regular eyeglasses or windows.
It delaminates your screen.
Right, but this, yeah.
So one of the things we realize when we talk to people is that I think that most people have done well with this. However, we do not want to be looking up your nose or at your chin. We don't want to see your ceiling or your ceiling fan when we're working with you. So if you know where your camera is and you're looking straight ahead, you should be looking right into your camera or a little up at it. There should be no bright lights or windows behind you. This is another thing that throws off the camera. You become either a silhouette or the color saturation is not good. So the lights should be in front of you. If there's a window, you could be facing it. If there's a light over your desk, you're facing it. But don't put on a bright light behind you or windows behind you. And we will help you to get that set up. As neat and simple a background as possible. We do not expect anyone to be moving furniture for this, but just take a look. Sometimes you don't realize that the camera is catching that pile of laundry, half a pillow on your bed, something you've left on your nightstand that you don't necessarily want everybody on screen to see. We're going to ask you to close the windows and turn off anything that makes noise, not just the TV and the radio, but fans, humidifiers, and even the refrigerator. Zoom is very sensitive to these ambient noises, and if you can turn everything off, the recording is better. You can have your text on your screen and scroll your screen so that the text you're reading is on top of the screen near the camera, or you can have the text on a paper taped on your computer near the camera. One caveat here is that we do hear people as they tap their down button to move the text on their screen. So practice, if you're using the text on your screen, doing it by just rolling your fingers along a trackpad or some way that it does not make any noise, because that clicking is distracting. Look directly into the camera at the beginning and the end. We will help you with this. We want you to connect with the audience. And then we will say, we are prepared to record everyone on Zoom. It would be just like this Zoom class. We will highlight you. Annika and I will be in the control room. You will have as many takes as you need, and we'll be recording it. We can do it that way. But if you want to tape yourself, here are some hints. If you have a Mac and feel comfortable doing it, you can tape yourself using Photo Booth, which has a video mode. That's how I believe Sabrina I did the announcements at services. Almost all devices now have a self-record feature. You can just Google your model and video myself if you don't know how to use it, such as video myself on Chromebook. It is a useful skill to have, how to make a short video on your computer. You can have someone else record you on a phone, tablet, or camera, but you must have a horizontal orientation, and the device must be held steady. It is natural to hold your phone the way you normally do to tape someone, but it does not fill the screen when we go to use the video, and all of the other rules of the lighting and the camera angle hold fast. And as Sherry said, please read through your text multiple times before doing anything so it flows easily. You may want to record just the audio on your phone and listen to yourself to make sure you sound the way you want, that the pacing is correct, that you are pronouncing everything clearly, but not over pronouncing it. We are not going to be showing the text on screen during these readings. We are going to be showing your beautiful faces. So we want to make sure that the text is clear. That is basically what I wanted to say. Annika knows where all of you live, knows who submitted what. We will be back to you very quickly with what we chose for you and scheduling. Annika is amazing and has basically cleared her schedule for next week to do the recordings, and we will find a time and a day that works for everyone. So I will now ask you if you'd like to unmute yourselves, and we have a few moments for questions. Probably not best to ask questions about you particularly. I know that there's some open issues with who's doing exactly what, and you can email me or we'll get in touch with you. So unmute, and I'm going to ask for raised hands. Jack Neiman's hand is up.
Thank you, Harold and Sherry, and of course, thank you, Rabbi, and everyone who presented today. It was really great. If we do our own recording, how do we send that exactly?
We can talk to you. It really is easy. You can email it to us or use something like Dropbox. These are not long recordings. They generally go fine over Gmail.
Okay, thank you.
And we don't provide hair and makeup, Jack, but we know that some of the people who are reading will be conscious of their own hair and makeup. You can do whatever you'd like.
I'd be happy to assist anyone.
Okay, thank you. Lisa.
So do you have a suggestion for gear, for equipment, in terms of microphones? And I know Rabbi has touted her connection, the Ethernet, like just, suggestions for what relatively easily affordable equipment.
I think I can give you that individually. I will say that we see and hear you fine. You are not one of the people who's had a problem. There are, it all depends on, you can email me. It all depends on exactly what you're looking for. But looking at you, what you might find useful is actually a little more lighting that falls directly on your face for when you're on screen. That is always nice. Is it possible that there are no other questions after this long?
I just want to add a tip that was given to me, that to avoid the looking up the nose and the weird angle is to try and imagine there's just a little gap between the top of your head and the top of the box. And if you were wearing a button-down shirt, you should be visible to where the third button on the shirt is. So that's considered what the broadcast quality of, you don't want to just see somebody's head because it looks a little weird just to see the head. And you don't want too much, you don't want the head to hit the top of the screen.
Right.
You don't want to look like this.
Correct.
So you want to see just a little bit between the head and the top of the screen. And honestly, this is Zoom etiquette in general. To adopt this is how you'll look a little bit better in your Zoom boxes in general. And as Harold said, to have the light coming from toward your face, not light right behind you, will make your face a little brighter, and it all helps make you look more human. If you're just showing like this, it's hard to relate, it doesn't feel so human as much as,
Not to pick on anyone in particular, Andrea Katz is in a beautiful, sunny, large, high ceiling space with lights above her and behind her. So that is the sort of thing that during filming, we will work with you on so that you don't have quite that silhouette. Saul Zalkin also has a window behind him. And that is the sort of thing. And Saul Zalkin, I see your hand up, as a matter of fact.
So I wanted to if the rabbi is still interested in comments about the class, or are you only doing the...
So we're doing the
recordings,
and then but you can email us, and it's very important to get that. Jack, did you raise your hand again?
I discovered on this Zoom that you can adjust your lighting, on how it appears on the screen. You can make the bar go up and down, and you can have more light on your face. So there are certain things you can do right on your screen here. If everybody knows that. I didn't know that before, but
is that under the video controls? Yes, you can brighten yourself. Although as a photographer, there's only so much that you can do. It is preferable that, you know, at least the basic lighting, because you've got beautiful lighting, you know, you have nice lighting behind you, Jack. You don't have anything bright behind you. Sarah Siegel.
Yes, but I've taken great, I mean, I've worked on that, so.
No, it's obvious.
Everybody has to work on it. It's not
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Jack's comment just reminded me of something that's I just discovered through help from my sister. If you go to video settings in Zoom, you know, by the video camera thing, you click the arrow and go to video settings. There is a touch up my appearance, which is really quite something. Don't do it too dramatically, or when you see each other in person, you'll wonder about the actual wrinkles you'll see. But it's nice. It softens things a bit.
Right. Okay. I can't share my screen to show it, but if you click on that little, if you can experiment at home, you can log on to Zoom without being on with anyone else. You can click that little right arrow next to stop video, and you can work on all of these things. Shep.
Hi. Yeah, I somehow doubt I'll be chosen, but if I were, would I have to read my own stuff, or would I have Sherry do it?
Everybody who submitted something had something accepted. It's just which of things gets accepted.
So do I have to read it, or does Sherry read it?
Shep, we would much prefer that you read it. We would much prefer to hear the voice of the
We
author.
want to have all the different voices. I mean, we certainly appreciate Sherry doing it during class, but we think for this, it would be really important to show you, Shep.
But Shep, I'd be very happy to work with you and
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay, that would be wonderful. Wonderful. But I think we'd really love to hear your voice for this, Shep.
Oh,
Right.
gosh.
So we are at time. We will be in touch with you. We want to hold your hand. We want this to work for you. We have amazing offerings. This is going to be a wonderful program. We will get back to you very soon with a revised registration page so that you can register. We are asking people in the class to consider a donation. There is sort of a $180 level, which will be a sponsor. There will be lower levels as supporters. There may be higher levels as producers. I think we're at time.
And I just want to emphasize something. This isn't a ticket for the event. It's a donation to the synagogue to support what we've been doing all year. So don't think about it, oh my God, you've been in this class and now you have to pay for a ticket. No, it's an idea of how do we all express gratitude, me included. I'm going to make a donation in honor of all of you. This is about supporting the synagogue, which has supported us studying together for this year and creating what we've created. And to encourage other people we know to make a donation in support of this. CBST is not rolling in money, you know, and we're offering this free experience in order to create community and learn together. And it's been very powerful for me as much as I know it's been for you. So see this as a donation to the synagogue at this moment of a year marking our time of COVID. For all that CBST has given to each of us in this time. So don't think of it as a ticket. Think of it as a donation to honor CBST in this 1 year marker. And today is actually Tanit Esther, which is the fast of Esther, which is always the day before leading up to Purim, where we remember Esther for all different reasons on the Tanit Esther. And then tonight is Purim. And I just saw the finished product of the video kids Purim spiel, in which I make an appearance. We have these incredibly talented children's theater people who've been working with our kids for the year, who have for the last several years, but who have pivoted to creating stuff, you know, on Zoom. It is fantastic, really fantastic. And we're going to be showing it both at the 5:30 thing for kids, but then we're going to show it in episodes through the whole Megillah.
Megillah.
And I think we're starting with the Megillah. Is it the Mariv service, which is led by Larry Kay and Sam Rosen and Joyce Rosenzweig and David Deed.
And Rudy, will Rudy be there?
Rudy will make an appearance, and Mariv for Purim is called, we called it Purim Tefillah, where it's traditional to make fun and have fun. So every prayer is set to a different, and Joyce and Sam are very creative in thinking about what the settings will be. Some will be very familiar from other years and some new things. So every prayer is set to a different music as a kind of a fun joke thing. And then the Megillah reading, I think many of you are participating. It's a multilingual Megillah reading. And for the first time, we have emoji as one of the languages. That's going to be very special with a lot of different special elements. And we're asking people to dress in either prom or pajama, like either go high, dress up, or wear your pajamas. So it's going to be really fun. I think we sent out all the details. They should be on the website for times of everything. Sadly, we're not serving any hamantashen, but hopefully you can get some in your neighborhoods or DoorDash or whatever it's called.
Sure.
Or maybe some of you can even make them. I haven't crossed that one yet. If we're in this another year, poo.
Oh,
Maybe, no, I should say, if we're not in this next year, I promise I'll make hamantashen. How's that?
for all of us.
For everybody, right?
And send it to our door. All right.
Okay.
I couldn't find on Bonnie's computer, I can't find the hand raising. So I'm speaking out, and I apologize for that. But I have one question on March 16th. Is there someone who can do a poster that we can share?
Yes, our crack graphics and promotion team is
Alicia?
working on something that will be ready very soon that you can
Okay.
share with everyone.
Right.
That is a great idea, and we'll work. We're moving on that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. We're here. You know how to get a hold of us. Chag Purim Sameach, or an early Shabbat Shalom, and we will
See
see
everybody tonight. It's really going to be fun.
But Monday in class, Rabbi, we'll be starting with Psalm 18, correct?
Correct. And I just wonder if we want to have some conversation about the year marker, maybe we'll do a little bit as well. Let's see, but we haven't, whatever, we'll figure it out. But yes, we're going to start Psalm 18 next week, and then we'll talk about the plan for March and April. How's
Terrific.
that? We'll go over all those details.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
And if you are moved to, I encourage you to develop a daily Psalms practice of going through 1 through now 17. Just recite them in English or Hebrew. Don't study them, just recite them. Get into a rhythm of reciting just 1 through 17 in order. I encourage you to try that as a daily spiritual practice. Okay, everybody. Bye-bye. See you later at Purim.
Bye, Rabbi.
Bye, Rabbi.
Bye, Rabbi.
Rabbi.
Happy Purim.
So what happens next week?
What do you mean?
Are we going on to Psalm 18?
Yes,
Monday.
Monday.
Okay.
Psalm 18. Well, it looks like we're gonna go.
Judy, are you the one doing the emojis?
No, I only do words.
No, you did hieroglyphics. You did hieroglyphics one year, right? A couple of years
Yeah.
ago.
Oh, I'm doing hieroglyphics tonight.
Oh, good.
I thought you meant a psalm. No, I was.
Oh, no.
Sorry, I have to start another meeting, so I have to close the room.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, bye-bye. See you
Bye.
tonight.